Welcome to The Engaging Life, a podcast about using engagement equity to improve your relationship building skills in your personal and professional life. And now, here are your hosts, Brandon Suba and Angela Cheney.
Oh, Angela.
Hello, Brandon.
How are you?
I am much better, thank you.
I know if you've been listening consistently, your voice sounds much better. You seem to have a little
I am past
more
COVID.
pep in your step
Yep,
there.
that was a rough one last time.
Gosh, that was crazy.
I think I went and took a car nap directly after we recorded.
Oh my gosh, I believe that. But you
Yeah.
made it through.
Yes.
You did really, really well. I hope if you didn't see the episode, what I loved was the insight of the episode because it was firsthand. You were in the.
I was in it.
In it. You
Yeah.
were in it. So anyways, welcome to the Engaging Life podcast. If you don't, okay, nope, I'm going to start over. Not for you guys. You can just keep listening as we have this fun conversation. So I'm really finally happy with my hair.
Good.
Like, it's been
It
a long.
looks exactly the same.
No, it doesn't though. It does. And if you're curious about this, check out our YouTube channel at Pixel Fire on YouTube, and you get to see. But no, it doesn't. Because see how this comes back now?
Okay, what was it before?
It was buzzed. And so it got to the point that it would some would be down, some would stick out, and it just I think I have a weird head. I've only shaved it twice in my life. And once I was young and the other one I would have been in high school.
You were in the neo-Nazi group?
I hit it. No, what the I was in a drum corps.
A skinhead drum corps?
It wasn't, and I shouldn't say shaved then. I buzzed my head.
Okay.
And it's just, I think I have a very oval face. I don't know. Leave in the comments if you feel my face is oval. So I use my hair.
I think it's more triangular.
Well, there's the problem. My daughter's watching Phineas and Ferb, and Phineas has a triangle head, actually. Phineas.
Yes.
Phineas.
Not Phineas.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that show. I don't
That's
mind.
fantastic.
I don't mind when it's on.
I love that one.
It is
I'll
good.
still watch it sometimes. It's me.
Have you noticed, too, they have a superhero episode, and they had all the Marvel people. And I'm
I
like,
don't think I saw that one.
holy cool. Well, probably because
Are they still making it?
Yes, like these came out recently. And what threw me off, I'm like, how did they get the rights for this? And then I thought of Disney Plus, and I'm like, oh, because they own everything.
Right.
So Phoenix, superhero one, and then there was another one, Star Wars one.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I'm
really
gonna have
cool.
to look those up.
Really cool, because you have all this free time, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I picked a topic today. I was going to say it's a little specific, but I don't think it is. But it's inviting. And I talk a lot about task versus purpose. And I think a lot of times inviting falls under the task category.
Okay.
And I'm preaching to those in networking groups and organizations that want to grow. And I do believe you should have the passion to grow. You should have the culture that allows growth. But when it comes to the inviting task, I think you get the people that shut down. To tell you the truth, in a group of, we'll use 10 because I'm not great with math, but in a group of 10 people, only 3 of them are probably going to actively invite. You've got about 4 that are going to try, and then everybody else just does they're working real hard. I think
Right.
they'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? And it is 100% task versus purpose. Now, you've been to many, I'm just visitor days, right?
Sure.
It's like a closed network group or a philanthropic group where they bring in a bunch of visitors.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to a bad one? Like we're just,
Oh, of course.
there weren't many.
Yes. Awkward.
My favorite meetings I would go to, because maybe I was the presenter, they'd stand up and they're like, well, today's our visitor day and we have none. To tell you the truth, half of our members are gone. And,
Yes.
I would usually do the twist. I would give kind of what we're going to talk about today, a presentation on inviting and tips on that. But then have you ever been to a crazy good one?
Oh, yeah.
When you've got 20, 30, 40, let's say 10% more than your membership of visitors in the group, it's buzzing. People are excited. And I think for those that sit back and let others just do all the work, they need to experience that because then they see the purpose behind it. You've got 5 new faces that came out of it. I always love it when one of the faces that was invited is a referral partner for the person that didn't do the work and now is benefiting from it. So today I want to talk about inviting. I'm going to share a story, go figure, out of the shoot that really opened up my eyes. And it really is the sales tactic of if you don't ask for the sale, the answer is always
No.
So if you don't make the invite, either someone else is going to do it or they're never going to have the opportunity.
Sure.
So here's the story. My dad ran a food manufacturing plant and they had salespeople across the United States. And I always thought to myself, I could invite them, but they don't need it because I feel this group is more local and they're all across the United States, so it won't do them any good.
Sure.
So I went to my meeting one morning, and Dee was one of the salespeople. I know, and she goes to our church, so I knew her personally. And I walk in and she's right there. And I was like, Dee, good morning. What are you doing here? And our good friend Sherry had invited her.
Oh.
And I'm just thinking, how many times have we been at church together? Have I been in the office chatting?
Never thought of it.
Yeah, and it's because I said she couldn't use this.
Right.
Right? So
You assumed.
I assumed. And what happens when you assume? So the biggest piece that I want you to take out of this today is when you make the decision for the person, you're probably wrong.
Yes. And there's the platinum rule. You know, just because maybe you wouldn't have benefited if you had a national job,
right,
does not mean the person who is in that position feels the same way.
Correct. So when it comes to inviting, don't make the assumption. Give them the opportunity. Okay. So that day I learned, and it took me a while in sales too, to just ask for the sale every time, not pushy, not aggressively, just ask for it, right? And how I did that was simply, would you like to get on the schedule today? Very nonchalant. And so when you think about inviting, don't make the assumption. I want to talk about the groups. So you have a visitor day, your group, and I've seen this. I've actually presented at a Rotary group that wanted to grow, and they were having challenges grow. And one of the guys knew that I had experience in this, so I came and I talked to him. And the first thing I asked him, I was like, so what is the culture? When you invite somebody, what do you want them to see?
Okay.
And what do you think the most common answer was?
Success?
Nope.
Friendly people?
Bingo. We're just the friendliest group. Business does happen, referrals do happen, friendships happen, but we are just a friendly group. I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, not at all.
I think it's actually a little scarier to go to the groups that are produce a lot.
Yeah.
Very boom, 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 boom.
Oh, yeah.
You have a much smaller
intimidating.
Yeah. So as I've talked to so many groups and so many people about this, you're friendly. So when you have a culture that's friendly, inviting, welcoming, and maybe does have some success, great news, folks. That will do all the selling you have to do.
Yeah.
But if you don't invite them and give them the opportunity to come, then they never know.
And that's such a hard, because I've been in groups like that before where I didn't invite because we'd had such poor turnout in the past that I didn't want to embarrass myself. I didn't want to, I waited until the group was stronger. It's kind of that chicken and egg thing. Well, if all of us are waiting to invite until the group is stronger, it's never going to get stronger. But it is that whole, somebody else will do it.
Yes. Yep.
And that's like a classic blunder. I can't remember the name of I'll put it in the show notes or comments, but there's a fantastic book about making the asks. How to ask and one of the classic blunders is asking a group to do something because everybody else in there is going to assume somebody else is going to do it.
Yep.
And so that's, and I know that's why BNI did Visitors Day the way, they tasked each person and they had to prove that they were doing it because if you just ask, hey, Visitors Day is coming up, let's try and get a lot of people here, everybody do an invite, you'll be like, well, I bet Brandon's going to invite 6 people. So that's, like 3 of mine, I don't have to do it. Or, it's just a classic human, people just think somebody else is going to do it. It's like the bystander syndrome.
Oh, I was going to go to the group project in high school.
Yeah, I'm going straight to people getting assaulted.
Yeah.
Where they did that one case. Again, here I am giving examples and I can't give you any specifics, but she was being like attacked on the street and was seen by this whole attack was seen by like 40 people and no one did anything about it because they all thought somebody else was going to.
Yep.
Bystander syndrome or bias.
What's the show? What Would You Do? I like that show.
I've never watched it.
So it's...
oh, no, I have.
Yeah, where they'll have
they do scenarios and see what people do, yeah.
And I don't know if they pick and choose. It seems like all of them have somebody that
seems a
shines.
little scripted.
What? That
What?
next thing you're telling us reality shows aren't
No.
real.
The Kardashians probably are following a script.
No,
I know.
that's
I've
their
just
life.
ruined all of your illusions.
It was Laguna Beach, which is really
Oh,
old.
that one was really real.
I thought it was, and then when I learned it wasn't, it was a harsh reality. Okay, anyways, all right. So when you're talking about inviting for your group, here's the deal. Giving a task onto it and saying, what you were referring to is the 50 letters. Everybody send 50 letters, and then you cut it back half, and half. I've done the presentation 1,000 times, right? But you're giving them a task. So when you think about growing a group, think of the purpose.
Okay.
And it's as simple as, why don't you want to show more people how great we are? Why don't you want your friend to see this real positive environment? Now, I think it gets a little tough when you start digging into, why don't you show the results of our group? Why don't you show the closed business? Why don't you show the referrals? Because I don't know what your luck is like, but if I sell the referrals and they come and they visit, that's going to be the one day everybody stands up and is like, oh, I
That's
don't have
nothing.
it. Right? And then it's like, so those referrals.
Well, you can't control the outcome there.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
but you can control, or not control, but if you've got a really friendly, you know they're going to be that way.
Yep.
And so you can control what's gonna happen there, what the image is going to be.
Right. And so here's a mindset for you. Don't you love it when you get to expose your business?
Expose is such a good word.
Is that not a good word?
Well, I knew.
I love exposure. If I do this with my hands, does it make it work?
Brandon, you love exposing
I love
yourself,
exposing my
but
business.
I don't, yeah, that word is
When you give somebody the opportunity to well, then what word do you want me to use?
show off.
Show off your business. Don't you like showing off
Yes.
your business? So when you give somebody that opportunity, to me, that knocks down the wall, right? So when I would invite people, yeah, I would talk about, the group's really great. I enjoy it. Well, of course you enjoy it because you're going to it.
Right.
But I would always say, but I would love for you to get exposure for your business to fill in the blank, 10, 15, 20, 30, however many people may be in the room. Now they see a purpose. Now they see a value,
Right,
where they get to come
even if they don't join.
Correct.
They have the opportunity to meet these people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I do love the hope. Hope's not a plan. I've never met anybody that came. Well, I guess that's not true. I couldn't give you a name, but the whole theory of invite them, if they don't join, they might send someone. It's like in my head, I'm like, okay, well, the people that are reaping the benefits still aren't inviting. Why is this one person that got nothing out of it going to invite?
Yeah.
But it has happened. It has happened. It's a business coach situation, but it has happened. So when you're thinking about inviting for a group, show the purpose. And if you're in leadership in these groups, give a purpose on why you want to grow. Don't just have a number that you want to hit as a goal, because that's a very low percentage of people in the room that will drive them. You get a little higher percentage when you talk about the exposure. I keep saying exposure. When you talk about the business that could become of this. And what I drilled in at the end, when there were enough long-term members that everyone was just done with visitors days,
Sure.
is I flipped the script and I said, well, our whole theory is the whole giver's gain theory. You have this person over here that has no referral partner in this chapter. So if you don't want to invite your friends, if you don't want to invite for that purpose, invite for them.
Yeah.
And if you show up with somebody that they can work with, that is almost more valuable than one referral because it's a referral source.
Absolutely.
So if you're having challenges growing a group, or you want to have an event, because it is that time as summer gets over, that's when all these visiting events happen. Really try to find the purpose, not the task. Sell the purpose and give options on the task, because everybody does things a little differently. And I bet you will find better success with what your ultimate goal is. Okay.
I
So
like that.
next one. And this is another layer to it. Your business, digital marketing, right? Isn't that what you
Correct.
dabble in? So I have somebody that I think would benefit from your product or service. They're a newer business. They've got good traction. They've got a decent income coming in. They're ready to go to the next level. That's perfect, ideal referral for you, right?
Right.
I could send an email. I could connect you guys. I can even take you out to coffee. But one cool thing about consistent meetings is I know you will be at this location at 1:00 on Tuesday every week. And I don't know if you have a group then, but just
Sure.
if you're in a group with somebody that meets every week, you know that consistency. So I have the opportunity to now say, hey, business ABC, I would love to introduce you to Angela. She does digital marketing, but let me buy you lunch and come to my meeting with me. I'll give you a personal introduction and you'll get to hear a little bit about what she does within the meeting.
Perfect.
To me, I've now brought you a face referral, not a paper referral, right? And it's the actual real deal. They get to meet you. And I firmly believe you can see if your personalities mesh, right? On a piece of paper referral, you have no clue who this person is. So then you get to meet them personally. They get to see your meeting. And, you know, if they join, that's great. If the referral happens, that's great. But if you're checking boxes for visitors, guess what? That's an easy way, in my opinion, that's an easy way to invite someone because it's window shopping for a product they're already looking for.
And they might be interested in the group too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You never know.
Or shoot, okay, well, you didn't end up working with Angela, but you did send a referral to the roofer because you have a hole in your roof. So I think it's a really cool, unique way. And once again, this whole thing about inviting is I ran through my head on why I hated the 50 letters. And it came down to it was a task. It also came down to I'm not just going to walk up to you and say, Angela, you own a business. You should come to my group.
Yeah, it was completely arbitrary. It was, and it was a numbers game. It was quantity over quality.
100%. Now, but I will fight that all day. And it's not even on our list. You can't have quality though without a few quantity.
Yeah.
I would have groups and they're like, well, we invited 3 people. They're all going to join. And one of the 3 would join. Like that person already had an app. And I was like, so how'd your quantity provide your quality for you?
Yeah.
So you have to have options on that. So bringing a referral to your group is a great opportunity as a visitor because there's so many other things that could lead to. The next one. Have you ever signed up for a networking event? Which, by the way, I just did events versus groups. If you haven't listened to that episode.
Good one.
It was a hot one. But have you ever signed up for an event and then you found every excuse not to go?
All the time. Yeah.
So I do this too. Because, man, mowing my lawn is such a top priority on like a Friday evening or have you what day. So what I started doing was I started inviting people based upon you are my accountability buddy. Like, I know you may not even really enjoy this. I know you wanted to get out more on networking. So, hey, I've got this event on Thursday. You want to come with me? I'll hold you accountable, but mostly I need you to hold me accountable.
Yep.
To me, this is empowering the other person.
Absolutely.
And then they're more likely to, oh, yeah, I'll make sure you go. And
then they have to go.
Dude, and more than I want to count, I've had to get the phone call where they're like, are you going to go today? And I'm like, well.
Yeah. You do the.
I'll pick you up.
It's just like the working out, you know.
Yes.
It's like, you gonna. Anytime somebody says, and I'll do this with meetings sometimes. Oh. Hey, just confirming, hoping that they're going to cancel it. And half the time it works.
It does.
If I wouldn't have said anything, they wouldn't. But, or if I get that too, I'm just like, oh, I can get out of this. Which is terrible because then you just have to reschedule and do it later anyway. Get it out of the way. But
I did. I was in a sales training and the trainer said, don't call the night before for your appointment to confirm because then that gives them the option to get out. And I was like, well, good, because I suck at that anyways, and I never do it. So now I can just take it off my list. Great. I couldn't say I saw any stats when I did or not. I was more pissed when I got stood up because I probably could have avoided that if I would have. So for inviting to networking events, if you find yourself backing out or always finding an excuse not to go, find yourself an accountability partner. And the more you can circulate through different partners, the more you give better opportunities to other people. So inviting to wine and dine.
Are we switching over to matchmaking here?
Well, here on The Engaging Life, we like to talk about life, not just business, right?
To all you singles out there.
To all you singles. So no, here's why I put this one on here. I don't like inviting with promising something. Because then if that something doesn't happen, it's a double whammy.
Okay.
Right?
Tell me more.
Okay, so hey, we're having this catered event coming up. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be tons of people. There's this really cool ribbon cutting. Come on and go, right? So you've really talked it up. Your catering turns out to be a charcuterie board that is like a 4x5, right?
Sure.
Like just a tiny little dinky thing.
Ritz crackers and slices of processed cheese.
Well, yeah, but they were pre-cut. So
Oh,
it was really
okay.
convenient, right? And so it's just kind of a letdown. And then 10 people are there. It's supposed to be this huge event. And the venue really didn't work out so well and all that. I really think you should be careful when you're making promises. This is very much under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
Because you can't always know what you're going to get. And mind you, if the person comes because they want this fantastic charcuterie board, they're probably a little shallow anyways. But when you let them down, that's just like in sales, when you offer something and then you have to come back and say, oh, we actually can't do that.
Right.
Right. You want to have that expectation set. So I don't think inviting a visitor off of what the food is, who the speaker is, although that does bring people in.
It does.
But once again, okay, so you told me the speaker's going to be amazing. I came and...
Or a lot of the times the speaker will back out.
Ooh, or they'll sell you. That's the one I hate the most, when it's like a motivational speaker and I'm buying it and I'm like, this is amazing. And they're like, so for $2.99, you can buy the whole program.
Right. And a lot of the times people who bring in outside speakers, they don't know they're going to do that.
Yes.
You know, they slide in there. It's like,
in the mortgage world, I did a couple presentations for a housing advisory, and it was sad that they had to say, now you can't sell during this. And I'm sure because they've had so many people come in and
do
sell,
it. Yeah.
But I have the knowledge and background. I'm just like, oh gosh, I would never do that.
Right.
And I still got deals out of it. But yeah, you just can't go in that mindset. So that's why I hesitate to promise who it is. Plus, you might care more about the speaker than I do.
That's very true. And they might be like, this is completely irrelevant, or they hate them.
Yes. And I don't want to say hate in this situation, but we have a very famous football coach here in Nebraska. You may know Tom Osborne. I've heard his same speech a few times when I was involved more with Optimist Group. And I'll be honest with you, I don't need to hear it again.
I agree.
So it's one of those, if you're selling on what the event is, what the cool stuff, the flashies are, I really back off of that, because if that's what gets the person there, you're never going to reach your ultimate goal, which is ultimately joining.
Correct.
Right? So I hope that gives you good opportunities of inviting something a little different and a different way to think about it, because that's what I had to do. I had to change my mindset from I'm inviting Angela to this group to join. Because then I'm not going to ask you because I feel like I'm pressuring you. I'm going to make the decision for you anyways. So don't even waste your time thinking about it. And when I took all of that stress off and it was just, Angela, you were mentioning you need carpet cleaning. And I know that's pretty arbitrary, but I have an awesome carpet cleaner. Would you love to come and meet him? I'll buy you lunch.
Yeah.
And once again, not selling the lunch. I want to be very clear because
could be good, could be bad.
Yeah, DJ Dugout Tacos are really good after 20 times, so they get a little shady on there. But take the pressure off of the close, because you're not selling somebody when you invite. And when you think about this, you'll have more people attending philanthropic nonprofit.
Ooh, that
groups.
Murdered that.
And maybe they end up donating. Or maybe, they buy a benefit table or something like that. And that builds that. Now, did they join? No. But we still got something out of it that was never purposely sold to them. Or in networking world, it's as simple as I'm in a networking group for referrals. I think you could use referrals in your business. Would you like to come check it out? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just simple. We overthink it. And that's why people don't want to do it. And if you give me a task on if you tell me how to do it, then I'm really not going to do it. And so at the end of, we used to call it visitor day season in my house because I was gone for like 3 months.
Yeah.
But at the end of when I was doing visitor day presentations, it was 100% shoot an email, send a text. If you know these people well enough, platinum rule, invite them the way they need to be invited. Sorry, groups that we can't account for 50 letters for each person now. I do think there are some people that need that accountability, but they're going to half-ass it anyway. So you're not going to get the results.
Yeah, why bother?
Yeah, give them a little more freedom. So if you're in a group, organization, all of that, taking the pressure off and making sure you show the purpose versus the task of doing it, I have a good feeling your next event will be full of visitors. Anything left on that?
No, I think you did fantastic.
Rock and roll. Hey, we love reviews, right?
We do.
How many stars?
All of them.
Or all the stars. I don't know how many they have. 7 sounds great.
24.
24 stars today here. Also, check out the YouTube channel. I talked about it before. I actually like, because I do you listen to all of our podcasts or you don't listen to any?
I will listen to them sometimes. I don't like watching them because I just am picky about myself.
Just stare at yourself, right? Yep. See, and I'm very conceited, so I love watching myself. I met somebody who was one of the best Facebook livers I knew personally.
Okay.
And I told her that. I'm like, she did makeup and everything. And I'm like, don't need the products or anything, but I still watched like 20 minutes of the tutorial. And I go, so do you go back and review? And she goes, no, I never watch myself. I'm like, well, you're really good. You probably would just be a little bit better if you did. I don't know what that looks like, but you critique yourself, right?
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
So if you want to critique us, go check out the Facebook page, or the, not the Facebook page, the YouTube page.
Tell us if you like Brandon's hair, and tell me if I slouch, because that's all I look at when I'm just like, I'm slouching again. So I'm over here doing this.
See, with polos, they can be very showing, so I try to keep a straight back. Which, totally non-related, if you're ever at a group and the chiropractor is giving the presentation, whatever kind it is, look around the room and you will see everybody sitting a little taller that day.
That's too funny.
So anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today. Hope to see you on the YouTube. You can check us out on any platform here. Subscribe, tell your friends about us, but most importantly, we'll talk to you next time.